So I want to make a video about threaded inserts. I've got these threaded inserts right here. They don't have the hex or Allen key on one side. The way these are driven in is you can get something from the manufacturer, but also you can just use a screw. This is a quarter 20 and you screw it in like that, and then you can use a wrench of some kind to get that in. And this longer piece here can help drive it in straight. But the real point of this video is how do you get it in straight? So let's say I want to go into this hole right here. One trick is you can put a little chamfer on the hole after it's drilled with a bit like this, and that can help get it in straight. So the real issue is you start going in, and this is actually working pretty straight, but it's not perfect. If you look at it from the side, I've got a little bit of an angle there. And you know, I've been putting these in by hand, and yes, I'm able to get a lot of them in straight, but every so often I get one that's going in crooked enough that it's going to cause an issue. And especially with these threaded inserts, I really want them to be very precise. So I've looked all over YouTube and the internet, and really the only, there aren't a lot of videos really on YouTube at all. You see people putting in threaded inserts, but they kind of skip from the part where they start to insert like this, and most of the ones on YouTube too are the Allen key type. They start putting it in like that, and then it cuts to them finishing it, so it doesn't really show them putting it in if they're using any kind of tricks, or if, like I've been playing around with, you just kind of get lucky, or you have to mess around with it to try to get in straight. I did find on some forums that one way to really get it in straight is with a drill press, and so that's why I'm standing here. Basically, you could lop off the top of this, put this in the drill press like that, and then slowly turn it in to get it to start, just to start the threaded insert in perfectly straight with your drill press as you push it down in. And that would work really well. That's actually a pretty good method. But the issue was, what I'm using these threaded inserts for is for a large countertop. So it's like 8 foot by 2 foot. So I can't really easily get that over here to put those in. So I'd need some sort of hand method to do it. So I've designed on paper anyway, I haven't started creating this yet, but I've designed a jig to do this. So I'm going to use this block of wood here to create a jig to put it in by hand, which will basically serve the purpose as a drill press, but it's mobile, so I can basically do it anywhere I need to. If you're putting a threaded insert into a piece of furniture that already existed, maybe a built-in piece of furniture, or a tabletop like I'm doing, countertop. So I've got this piece of wood here. I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes into it, and we'll see if it works out. So this piece of stock here, this is an offcut of wormy maple, is 8/4. It's 2.5 inches tall and then about 6.5 inches long. And then I've got a 1 3/8 inch Forstner bit here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill about 1 1/8 inches deep. Let me set my depth here. And then I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole as well, and then we can go from there. So now that I've got this viewing window hogged out with the Forstner bit, I've got a 1/4 inch brad point bit, and I'm not going exactly center on here, I'm going a little bit back from that, and I'm just going to drill straight through. So I actually drilled it on both sides, that way I can use this with my left hand and my right hand depending on the situation that I'm in, so it's a little more versatile. So let's get over to the screw and I can show you exactly how this thing works. So I've got my block for the jig. I've got a 3.5 inch long 1/4 20 bolt here. That's just going to slide right through that 1/4 inch hole. And then on the end of here, we're just going to put one nut, and then we're also going to put a lock nut on here as well. And then I just got to tighten that down. So that's nice and locked up. So exactly how this works is you take your threaded insert, you thread that on there, and then it drives up inside there. And how we're going to work this is we're going to drill a hole, and then we should be able to put that in. So let's test it out with a test piece. So I've got a hole right here for the threaded insert. We just line it up over the top. You can kind of feel it going in. I did put a small chamfer on there. And you just use the wrench to drive it down while putting pressure. Eventually, I'm not going to drive it all the way down so we can see how straight it is. Just loosen that back out. You've got a perfectly aligned threaded insert there, so that worked pretty well. So this jig really turned out a lot better than I was even expecting. I was having to lean over the camera while I was driving it in, and it drove in just fine, and I didn't really have great leverage. I don't really use a lot of threaded inserts, but for this project I knew I had some in a drawer, and it's really working out for me. The issue obviously was driving them in straight, but I really do like them, and I think I'll use them a lot more now that I have this jig, because I think years ago I had tried to use them and had a similar issue and just kind of tossed them in a drawer and moved on from there, but I think this really solves that problem. So hopefully for someone else out there looking for ways to use threaded inserts and drive them in straight, that this is a helpful set of tips and a helpful jig for them to create. It's pretty easy to do. So leave some comments in the comment section. Thanks.